Arirang TV is conducting an overseas TV viewer survey to provide you with a better global broadcast service. Share your valuable feedback on the Arirang TV website www.arirang.com or mobile application. Survey participants will be selected at random to receive special gifts. 2025 Arirang Overseas TV Viewer Survey. We look forward to hearing from you.
도시는 세계와 연결되어 문화를 창조했고 새로운 것을 받아들였다.
함께여서 우리는 더 자유롭고 더 멀리 갈 수 있어.
닫힌 문이 아니라 열린 질문으로.
나에게 APEC은
자유,
융합,
국제성,
다양성,
포용,
개방.
신라의 정신이 APEC 2025로 이어집니다.
Hello and welcome to our morning edition of Arirang News. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. With just a few days left until the August 1st trade deadline, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a trade agreement with Japan, saying Tokyo will invest $550 billion into the United States and pay reciprocal tariffs of 15%. The death toll from the recent torrential rain in South Korea continues to rise. At least 21 people have been killed, while 7 still remain missing, as authorities carry out search and rescue operations for the 5th day. President Lee Jae-myung has now designated 6 areas as special disaster zones, and once again urged officials to focus on helping people affected by the intense downpours. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that Washington has set a 15% tariff on goods from Japan. As the August 1st deadline looms, the United States will continue to hold talks with trading partners, including South Korea and China. Our Lee Seung-jae starts us off.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Tuesday that Washington will impose a 15% tariff on goods from Japan. In a social media post, the U.S. leader touted what he called a massive deal that would also see Japan invest $550 billion into the U.S., adding that the U.S. would receive 90% of the profits. Trump also noted that Japan will open trade to cars and trucks, rice, and certain other agricultural products. Trump also announced on Tuesday that the U.S. will charge a 19% tariff on goods from the Philippines. The figure is a percentage point lower than what was announced in April. The announcement was made in a social media post, with Trump saying that Washington had reached a deal with Manila after holding talks with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the White House. In exchange, the U.S. will see zero tariffs on goods going to the Southeast Asian nation. Meanwhile, the U.S. has agreed to lower the tariff imposed on Indonesia from 32% to 19%. The U.S. will see virtually no tax on all American goods shipped to Indonesia. The U.S. will also be exempt from most regulations on automobiles, agricultural products, and pharmaceuticals exports to the Southeast Asian nation. According to a senior Trump administration official, Indonesia will reduce tariffs to 0% on over 99% of the products from the U.S. and eliminate all non-tariff barriers. With the U.S. and China still trying to strike a trade deal, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced Tuesday that a third round of trade talks with Beijing is scheduled for next week in Sweden. Speaking to Fox Business, Bessent said that he will be in Stockholm from July 28th to 29th with his Chinese counterparts, adding that they'll be working out what is likely an extension. With Seoul also working to strike a deal with Washington before the August 1st deadline, South Korea's Finance Minister Koo Yoon-chul said Tuesday that he would hold so-called 2+2 high-level trade talks with the U.S. on Friday. Koo said he and Trade Minister Yohan Gu will head to Washington for the talks, involving Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Without a trade deal, South Korea is set to face 25% tariffs on all goods entering the U.S. 이승재, Arirang News.
On the local front, as floodwaters recede, the true toll of last week's extreme weather is coming into focus. While recovery efforts are underway, the search continues for those still missing in the hardest-hit areas. Our Munyeon has the details.
At least 21 people have died due to the heavy rain that swept across South Korea last week, with fears mounting that the death toll could rise as search and rescue efforts continue. As of Wednesday morning, the number of those missing stands at 7, after 2 bodies were found on Tuesday afternoon in Sancheong, Gyeongsangnam-do province, where 12 people lost their lives. Authorities are continuing to search for 2 more missing people in the area, with a fire department official reporting that while search conditions are improving as water levels recede, efforts are heavily dependent on manual checks as equipment is unable to access certain areas. In Gapyeong, Gyeonggi-do province, search teams involving more than 700 personnel are continuing to look for 4 missing people. Among them are 2 members of a family who went missing after visiting a campsite, 1 person swept away in a vehicle, and another believed to have been caught in strong currents along a riverbank. Search and rescue efforts here are also being prolonged due to rapid water currents. Meanwhile, residents in the area are grappling with the aftermath of the torrential rains and landslides that devastated homes, businesses, and farmlands.
The cowshed was completely flooded. We got a warning from the village center telling us to evacuate, but with the cows here, we couldn't leave. It was heartbreaking.
Many returned to find their properties unrecognizable, buildings reduced to rubble, interiors buried under layers of mud, and entire crops destroyed.
The damage is just overwhelming. The water's been cut off, so there's nothing we can do. There's no electricity, no running water.
As the nation continues to reel from the destruction, rescue crews remain in a race against time, working around the clock to locate the missing and support recovery efforts. 문혜련, Arirang News.
And President Lee Jae-myung has once again urged officials to spare no effort in helping people affected by the recent downpours and designated 6 cities or counties as special disaster zones. Our top office correspondent Yoon Jung-min reports.
The day after returning to his office from a flood-hit area in the south, the president began Tuesday's cabinet meeting by noting the suffering of the people from days of heavy rains and extreme heat.
그 망연자실하게 무너진 집, 떠나간 가족들을 생각하면서 그 아무 표정도 짓지 못하던 그분들, 국정을 책임진 대통령으로서 우리 국민 한 분 한 분이 겪는 그런 삶의 고통에 대해서 좀 더 예민해지도록 노력하겠습니다.
He once again urged his cabinet to spare no effort in helping those affected and searching for the missing, while speeding up the designation of special disaster zones. The first to be designated for state funding were 6 cities or counties, including Gapyeong in Gyeonggi-do province, Damyeong in Jeollanam-do, and Sancheong in Gyeongsangnam-do. Special grants of 5.5 billion won worth nearly $4 million, will be used to help several regions recover, including Gwangju and Gyeongsangnam-do province. President Lee Jae-myung went on to urge his cabinet to look for new approaches, which could involve leveraging technologies such as AI.
이번에 장마 폭우를 보면서 기존의 방식과 시설, 장비, 대응책만으로 대응에 한계가 있다는 생각이 좀 들었습니다. 좀 근본적인 대책을 새롭게 구성해 보도록.
This as 9 new cabinet members attended the meeting, including ministers in charge of finance, labor, and safety, signaling the start of a full-fledged new government.
Our economy faces very tough conditions. In the short term, we need to revive the livelihoods of the people and respond to tariff negotiations with the U.S. In the longer term, we should build the real Republic of Korea, real growth.
Another focus was on minimizing industrial accidents, for which the cabinet approved a revised law to disclose to builders if any such accidents occur at construction sites. In clear reflection of daunting tasks ahead, the president asked his new cabinet to be mindful of the work they do, calling them a touchstone for the future that greatly affects the lives of every person in the country. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Following the implementation of real estate loan regulations last month by the Lee Jae-myung administration, the forecast for housing prices has significantly declined. According to data released by the Bank of Korea on Wednesday, the housing price forecast index for July stood at 109, down 11 points from June. While the figure remains higher than the long-term average of 107, it's the largest monthly decline in 3 years. The figure indicates a significant decrease in the proportion of consumers expecting home prices to rise over the next year. Following the announcement of new real estate policy on June 27th, all housing loans in the Greater Seoul area are capped at 600 million won, or $442,000, regardless of income or property price. With just 100 days left until the APEC summit kicks off on August 31st in South Korea's historic city Gyeongju, eyes are now on whether U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping will attend. For more on what to expect at the summit, we're joined by Professor Andrew Millard, Assistant Professor of International Relations at Changwon National University. Professor Miller, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So the South Korean government has now sent invitations to all APEC member states. So there is a possibility that the leaders of the U.S., China, and Japan could all meet in Gyeongju. So what are your thoughts on this potential gathering?
So you're right. So all the invitations have been sent to the APEC leaders, plus a few others. So there's several non-APEC leaders that will also attend. So, for example, the UAE has shown a lot of interest in attending. In terms of sort of the leadership from China, the US, Japan, in terms of China, at the moment, it's very likely that Xi Jinping will attend. The Chinese authorities are showing a very positive attitude. Of course, China also has its big military parade to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II in September. So maybe it'll be interesting to see if President Lee visits China, and if he doesn't, whether that changes the Chinese stance. In terms of Japan, you would definitely expect the Japanese Prime Minister to attend. Now, right now, in Japan domestically, Prime Minister Ishiba is going through some domestic issues. So whether it's Ishiba or whether it's a new leader potentially in Japan, we'd still expect them to attend. The big question mark does, however, still remain on President Donald Trump. Right now, it's looking like he will attend. So the US ambassador to South Korea, Joseph Yoon, has said that he does expect Trump to attend. But he did also say, unless special circumstances mean that Donald Trump cannot attend. So we still have 100 days until the APEC summit. A lot can change. Donald Trump, as we know, can be quite unpredictable. So it's interesting to see that. But for me personally, it would be very interesting to see if Vladimir Putin attends. If he does attend, then really we'll see President Lee's pragmatic diplomacy being put to the test for sure.
Right, we'll have to see how that goes. And what might be some of the key issues on the agenda for discussion among APEC member state leaders?
So there's going to be quite a lot of issues. I think straight off the bat, we can say that trade will be one of those main issues. But the whole theme of this year's APEC summit will be building a sustainable tomorrow. So definitely sustainability will be sort of the main encapsulating theme. But then there'll be three separate sort of pillars. So the first one will be connect. So definitely they'll be looking at issues related to multilateralism, so multinational institutions and organizations and strengthening those. Then there'll also be innovate. So AI and the digital development is also going to be a very big issue that will be discussed. And the last one is prosper. So they want the whole region to start developing. So again, we come back to these issues of trade and so on. But I think there'll be a lot of other issues such as energy security, food security, climate change and such that will also be discussed as well.
Right, a lot of issues to be discussed right there. And this will be the first major diplomatic event hosted by South Korea since President Lee Jae-myung took office. So how would you assess Korea's current diplomatic standing on the global stage? And what are the expectations for Korea's role as host of this year's APEC summit?
So this is, to be honest, a little bit more of a tricky question because Lee Jae-myung, he's only been president for just over a month and a half now. He's still very early into his term in office. He did attend the G7 summit very quickly after his inauguration. But since then, on the global stage, he's actually been pretty quiet. He did not attend the NATO summit in The Hague. He didn't attend the BRICS summit. So to be honest, I think a lot of the world leaders, a lot of the global stage media will be looking to Korea to really understand a little bit more about President Lee and his vision for Korea and the future coming up. I think, to be honest, most people know about Korea's industries already, so it'll be more the focus on the Lee administration.
I see. And there's also speculation that this could provide an opportunity for a meeting between President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. What's your take on the possibility of inviting North Korea, and how likely is it, and in your opinion, that a high-profile event like this could happen on the sidelines of the APEC summit?
So again, another very good question. I think a lot of people are waiting for the answer on this one. So North Korea is not a member of APEC, which is why it has not received an official invitation yet. As far as I know, the South Korean government is considering whether to invite North Korea or not. Now, here's where maybe we need to look at it from both the positive and the negative side. So a potential, maybe not disadvantage for South Korea would be if they do invite Kim Jong-un, North Korea, and he does have some sort of meeting with Donald Trump in Panmunjom, for example, will this take away a lot of the attention from South Korea? So the South Korean government, they'll have to weigh up this. Do they want the focus to be on South Korea or potentially to be drawn away to North Korea? So that could be the potential disadvantage. On the other hand, in terms of the rapprochement, in terms of improving the relations between North and South Korea, this could be a very important step. And it could also be another way to entice President Donald Trump to South Korea by saying, oh, if you come, maybe there could also be a potential meeting with Donald Trump. And we know, with Kim Jong-un, we know Donald Trump does like these sort of photo opportunities, even if it wouldn't be a significant meeting.
Right, a lot of things to consider. All right, Professor Miller, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Korea's Won Yoon-jong, Asia's first ever bobsleigh Olympic medalist, is now aiming to make history once again. This time, he's running for a seat on the International Olympic Committee's Athletes Commission to represent athletes from around the world. Our Park Gun-woo tells us more.
Legendary Korean bobslayer Won Yoon-jong appeared confident and full of anticipation after being named one of the final 11 candidates for membership of the IOC Athletes Commission last month.
Those candidates are role models in their own sports and have significant influence. So it's truly meaningful to be named among them.
If elected in the athletes' vote at the 2026 Winter Games, Won would become Korea's first winter sports athlete to hold a seat on the IOC Athletes Commission. Then he'd be able to act as a bridge between the IOC and athletes to listen to them and make sure they're represented throughout his 8-year term. Won says his own experience as an athlete has shaped how he hopes to serve.
If elected, I want to connect with athletes everywhere and speak with them freely. I've seen athletes struggling when transitioning after retirement. I want to support them through that phase and help address mental health concerns too. I also want to eradicate doping and protect clean athletes.
With climate change threatening the future of winter sports, Won says environmental advocacy should also be part of the job.
Athletes have a big influence on the public. If they take the lead in environmental campaigns, it can raise awareness and help preserve both the planet and winter sports.
But the road won't be easy. Won says he's ready to walk thousands of steps, literally, to meet athletes during the Olympics with sincerity. For the legendary bobsleigh athlete, challenge is nothing new, as it's been the driving force behind every milestone in his journey.
So what does challenge mean to you on a personal level? And as a person, Won Yoon-jong, what are your personal goals?
Challenge means growth and change to me. When I tried to become a bobsleigh athlete, it was a challenge, and I made it. I tried to get the medal, and it was a huge challenge for me whole my life. But yeah, I did it. I think there are lots of challenges if I want to get good outcomes. So I believe that I can be a better person through challenges.
No break until the end. With that mindset, Won says he'll keep racing forward just like on the bobsleigh track, toward what could be a new milestone for Korean sports diplomacy. Park Gun-woo, Arirang News, Pyeongchang.
Now let's take a look at some stories from around the world with our Choi-ji. Good morning, Ji.
Good morning, Eun-ji.
So let's begin in the United States, which has once again decided to withdraw from UNESCO. Tell us more.
Right. The U.S. has announced it will pull out of the United Nations Cultural and Educational Agency, UNESCO, as part of President Donald Trump's efforts to withdraw from international institutions. A White House spokesperson announced on Tuesday, July 22nd, that the withdrawal will take effect in December 2026, adding that the country's continued participation in the agency is not in its national interest. U.S. officials criticized UNESCO's agenda, highlighting its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and its 2011 acceptance of Palestine as misaligned with U.S. values. This marks the third U.S. departure following exits in 1984 under the Reagan administration and 2017 under Trump, with the U.S. then rejoining in 2003 and 2023, respectively. U.S. financial contributions currently represent approximately 8% of UNESCO's budget, down from over 20% previously. UNESCO's Director General Ozzy Osbourne expressed deep regret, but emphasized that the agency is prepared both financially and operationally. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan warned on Tuesday that Türkiye will directly intervene to stop any attempt to fragment Syria or allow militants to gain autonomy. Fidan addressed reporters in Ankara at a joint news conference after recent clashes between the Druze and Bedouin groups in the city of Sweda. He also accused Israel of seeking to destabilize Syria and push for separatism in the south. The minister specifically warned Kurdish groups that any moves toward autonomy or independence would be seen as a big strategic catastrophe and a direct threat to Turkey's national security. Following a push by U.S. President Donald Trump, Coca-Cola announced on Tuesday that it will introduce a new version of its flagship product in the U.S. this fall, sweetened with domestic sugarcane. CEO James Quincy confirmed that to align with consumer demand, Coca-Cola will launch a U.S. cane sugar variant this fall, following Trump's appeal for real cane sugar instead of corn syrup. The new product will complement the core recipe rather than replacing the classic formulation. Coca-Cola also reported robust second-quarter profits, beating estimates for quarterly results. The company's comparable revenue beat estimates by increasing 2.5% in the 3 months up to June 27th. In the United Kingdom, Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary frontman of Black Sabbath, known as the Prince of Darkness, died on Tuesday at the age of 76. No immediate cause was given, though he had been battling Parkinson's disease since 2020. His final performance took place only recently on July 5th at Villa Park Stadium in his hometown of Birmingham, with the proceeds donated to organizations such as Parkinson's UK. Over his 5-decade career with Black Sabbath and as a solo artist, Ozzy Osbourne sold more than 100 million records and earned a revered place in rock history. Tributes poured in worldwide, with Elton John calling him a true legend.
Brace for another day of sticky summer heat. Heat wave alerts have expanded to more regions and are active for most of the country. That means tropical nights and scorching daytime temperatures are here to stay, with a chance of showers popping up in inland regions. With all that heat building up during the day, the atmosphere can get a bit unstable. That means we could see some strong, unexpected showers in parts of Gangwon-do, Chungcheongbuk-do, and Gyeongsang-Buk-do provinces, with 5 to 30 millimeters in the forecast. And this afternoon, Seoul gets up to 33 degrees Celsius, Daejeon, Gwangju topping out at 35 degrees, Daegu at 36 degrees, and UV rays will be very strong in most parts, so have your sun protection ready. Temperatures are just going to keep climbing throughout this week. Seoul's daytime high could reach scorching 36 degrees Celsius this Friday and Saturday. Meanwhile, Jeju Island is forecast to see rain this weekend. Please stay cool and safe out there.
That's all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Thanks for watching.
Arirang TV is conducting an overseas TV viewer survey to provide you with a better global broadcast service. Share your valuable feedback on the Arirang TV website, www.arirang.com, or mobile application. Survey participants will be selected at random to receive special gifts. 2025 Arirang Overseas TV Viewer Survey. We look forward to hearing from you.
저희가 매일매일 자동차를 타고 일상생활에서도 쉽게 사용을 하는데 그런 자동차에서 타이어는 계속해서 버려지고 있거든요. 전 세계적으로 10억 개 이상 버려지고 있는데 특히 소각 처리될 경우에는 대기오염 물질들이 여러 가지가 나오게 되고 매립됐을 때는 지하수나 토양오염 물질들이 많이 방출되게 됩니다. 저희는 그런 타이어들을 어떻게 잘 처리할지 좀 고민을 했었습니다. 타이어가 가지고 있는 접지력이나 내마모성이 좀 우수하다고 생각을 했고요. 저희는 타이어 하나로 신발을 3.5켤레 정도를 만들 수가 있어요. 그렇게 됐을 때 저희의 신발 한 켤레는 타이어에서 발생되는 탄소를 8.9kg 정도 저감할 수 있는 그런 효과가 있습니다. 이 일을 시작하기 전에는 타이어가 그렇게 많이 버려지는지도 몰랐고 그리고 버려진 타이어들이 환경 파괴적으로 처분되는 것도 사실은 잘은 몰랐어요. 점점 더 적체가 되고 있거든요, 타이어들이. 시간이 지나면 지날수록 더 큰 문제가 될 것 같다는 생각에 지금 일을 하고 있습니다. 타이어마다 모양이나 패턴이 굉장히 많이 다양한데 내가 가지고 있는 신발이 다른 신발들과 모양이 다를 수 있다는 점, 그런 점도 그 재미 요소로 좀 다가가고 있습니다. 저희도 그런 계기를 보다 많은 분들께 하나 더 제공해 주고자 매일매일 신는 신발을 만들겠다고 한 것도 있어요. 조금 더 주변을 살펴보면은 나 스스로도 조금 더 환경 보호에 참여할 수 있는 일이나 물건들이 더 있지 않을까, 그렇게 찾아보시면 어떨까 싶습니다. 나는 다시 달릴 수 있게 만드는 그리너입니다.
얼쑤! 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 소문 막 나가오면 선월사초 싸웠고 소문 막 나가오면 관악묘를 모셔 있고 북문 막 나가오면 고롱산성 태보가비 남문 막 나가오면 광안루
We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insight, new styles, and new topic every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Wednesday, July 23rd here in Seoul. I'm Lee Soo-jin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Ki Kim.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, and also Grace Parks with us.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. And they're both here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So it's Wednesday, which means we're going to begin with our keyword news, where we look at a story that has been gaining traction over the past 24 hours. And today's keyword is travel trends. As you plan your summer getaway, you might be wondering when most people are taking their vacations and where they're headed. According to a recent survey by the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport and the Korea Transport Institute, the busiest travel period this year is expected to be from July 26th to August 1st, with nearly 20% of respondents saying they plan to take their break during that week. And the survey also found that around 78% of respondents plan to travel domestically, marking a 2.2 percentage point increase in domestic travel compared to last year, suggesting that more people are choosing to spend their summer holidays right here in Korea. So Grace, why do you think more people are choosing to travel domestically this year compared to last year? And what are some underrated domestic destinations that you'd recommend for a summer trip?
Well, Korea has plenty of attractive travel destinations, so I understand why many people are planning to just stay within the country this summer. Traveling domestically is the easier way to go without having to go to the airport, going through security, getting on a flight somewhere. Plus, I think the prolonged economic slump and high prices globally are some reasons why people are choosing to stay in Korea this summer. While popular destinations like Jeju Island or Sokcho are always great, I also recommend exploring Samcheok, which is in Gangwon State. It's a quaint little town along the eastern coast that's much cooler than the capital city during the summer. The oceanside accommodations are really beautiful, and the seafood there is delicious.
So traveling domestic is actually a lot less commitment, which is why I also like traveling domestically. And there's still a lot of places that people haven't been to. Like, I've never been to Samcheok, which sounds really like a place I would love to. So what are your thoughts on this, Key?
Well, you talked about July 26th and August 1st being a busiest time, and most of the child daycare centers and kindergartens have vacations during that period, so it sort of explains why. And like I said last week's episode, there are 2 long vacations this year. We already had one in May and another one coming for Chuseok. So I guess many people tend to have a short break for summer, and they do go to places that are not that far away. And one of the places I really recommend is Pyeonsanbando. It's located in Busan County, Jeollabuk-do Province. This coastal gem lies along Korea's west coast and is part of the Pyeonsanbando National Park, one of the few national parks in the country that spans both mountain and marine ecosystems. Dramatic cliffs of Cheseokgang, tranquil shores of Gyeokpoang Port, peaceful Naesosa Temple nestled in the forest, and traditional Gomso salt field appeared a lot in dramas, movies, TV shows, and it's only 3 to 4 hours drive from Seoul, and sunset's just amazing. But my best choice is always staycation. So many great boutique hotels in Korea nowadays. I just lay down and, order room service and watch TV or Netflix.
So whether you're planning a beach getaway, a city staycation, or a countryside escape, it looks like more people than ever are choosing to explore what Korea has to offer. So wherever you go, whenever you travel, I hope you stay safe, whether you decide to avoid that peak vacation period or join in and go with the flow. And that concludes our keyword news for this Wednesday. So as we make our way through the middle of the work week, we're turning our attention to something a little more fun for anyone looking to make the most of their summer. Let's take a look at the screen to learn more.
We're now well into the heart of summer, and with the temperatures soaring, many people are heading out in search of the perfect way to cool off. Whether it's a quick day trip or a weekend escape, water-friendly destinations are a popular choice this time of year. And one place that's been grabbing attention lately is a unique urban beach-style festival, complete with swimming pools and water slides, all designed to help people cool off and escape the heat. But this is just one of the several fun and refreshing spots you can enjoy here in Korea during the summer vacation season. So today, we're taking a closer look at a few of them.
So as we just saw in the video, it's clear that water-friendly destinations are a popular choice this summer. So whether you've already been on a trip or still figuring out your plans, one thing's for sure, finding ways to cool off in this heat is really a must. And that's why for today's main discussion, we're diving into some of the top places to beat the heat this summer, from unique urban festivals to hidden water spots around Korea that are perfect for a refreshing escape. So let's start with this key. Have you already been on your summer break, or are you still making plans? So can you tell us more about this?
Well, we talked about this last week. I'm a freelancer, so debating about summer break and when to go to summer break is not an option for me, but I've taken a short trip down to Osaka with my mom. But I'm planning to go to camping with my son. We've seen these things called glamping, glamorous camping, where everything is pretty much prepared. Looks like camping, but it's well prepared with a nice bedding, perfect barbecue, great looking views. And my son especially likes the one where they modified inside a caravan. There's a bed and small bathroom inside, like a camping car, shared kitchen outside for everyone to use, small private barbecue place in front of the caravan, and there's many places like this near Seoul.
Right, so glamping actually is something that it's on my bucket list as well. I know some people who are camping fanatics, they don't really count that as real camping. But if it's a way, right, I mean, that is true. But it's a way to experience nature while, still
I mean, it's also hard to collect all those camping gears and expensive.
Right,
where to store is another problem. So glamping sometimes it's a nice option.
Right, it is. What are your thoughts on this, Grace?
Yeah, I'm also one of those people that are planning to stay in Korea this summer, and maybe I'll go and enjoy some water activities to keep cool. I actually went kayaking on the Han River, and it was really nice. It was really beautiful. And Gangneung is also another option. It's just an hour and a half away from Seoul. It's known for its water activities, from jet skiing to banana boating to rafting, so maybe I'll check that out. I also want to go to the mountainside streams, because I heard that there's like a tradition where you go to those streams and then cool off in like the cool mountainous areas, and then you eat some popular chicken stew, or it's called dakbaek soup in Korean. And supposedly there are a bunch of those types of restaurants around mountainous streams, so I definitely want to try that out.
Eating a hot food during the summer is also a way to beat the heat, and also real quick, I want to ask you about the kayaking. Oh, yes. So is this like a bunch of people? Like, how does this work?
No, so actually it's a one-person kayak. You get into just like a single-person kayak. There's a teacher who guides you through the different routes along the Han River. It's really nice if you go during the PM, like maybe around 4 or 5 to see the sunset. Maybe 6 or 7 these days to see the sunset. And then you can also enjoy the wonderful night views of Seoul, which is really beautiful.
Sounds like a fun activity to do, so thank you for that recommendation. But clearly we're not the only ones looking for ways to beat the heat. So with the heat kicking in, many are heading to the water to cool off. So to get a broader perspective on this, we turned to our viewers on the Arirang News YouTube channel and asked, what's your favorite place to enjoy the water during the summer? And here's what they had to say. The ocean was the most popular choice, with 40% of people saying it's their favorite place to enjoy the water in the summer. Swimming pools came in second at 24%, while rivers or lakes and mountain streams were tied, each receiving 18% of the votes. So it looks like people enjoy the ocean the most during the summer, which isn't all that surprising, because there's just something about the sea breeze, the sound of waves, and the chance to really cool off that makes it the perfect summer escape. But for those staying in Seoul, you might be wondering where you can find beaches or pools right here in the city, right, Ki?
So these days, you don't really need to travel far to cool off. There are plenty of water play facilities right here in Seoul. So many districts operate free water playgrounds for residents. And the Hangang River swimming pools have become a seasonal favorite. They're located throughout the riverside parks and even stay open at night. And what's more surprising is that now you can enjoy water play right in the middle of Gwanghwamun Square as well. This area, known for the iconic statue of the King Sejong and the Sejong Center for the Performing Arts, is not only a symbolic center of Seoul, but also a must-visit destination for international tourists. So in the celebration of summer, a temporary water park has been set up, allowing both locals and visitors to beat the heat in one of the city's most iconic locations.
Sounds like it'll be quite an interesting experience to be able to experience water parks, against a kind of unexpected kind of scenic backdrop.
Exactly.
So summer is always packed with these kind of fun events. Grace, are there any festivals or seasonal events this year that you'd personally recommend?
Yeah, so going off on what Key said, the Seoul Summer Beach Festival is great. It started last weekend and it runs until August 8th. And basically what it is just like a huge water park that's been built at Gwanghwamun Plaza in Seoul. And the people in the city can just cool off and enjoy recreational water activities for free in the sweltering heat that we've been witnessing. The swimming pool is 1.8 meters deep. The slides are pretty impressive at 8 meters and 10 meters long. And there's even a little water playground for children, which means that people of all ages can enjoy the summer here together. There's also a sandy beach zone and an indoor sand playground where you can just, play with sand and maybe build some sand castles.
So the 2025 Seoul Summer Beach Festival you just mentioned has definitely been getting a lot of buzz. I've seen quite a few articles about it myself. But I heard there's something unique about this year's edition. Can you tell us what makes it special, Key?
Sure. So seeing people enjoying playing people with water in Gwanghwamun Plaza, where traditional palaces meet towering skyscrapers, it creates a strikingly unique scene, especially for foreign visitors. In fact, many international tourists have expressed genuine surprise and delight. And for many locals too, particularly those working in nearby office buildings, it's a refreshing change in the middle of the concrete forest that is central to Seoul. The sound of children laughing and splashing the water to each other has brought a sense of joy and relief. So it's a wonderful example of how urban spaces can be transformed into places of play and connection. So that's very unconventional but meaningful and extraordinary summer event.
So Grace, how long has this Seoul Summer Beach Festival been running, and what makes this year's version different from the previous ones?
Yeah, well, in fact, the festival was first launched 3 years ago, where there were 680,000 visitors the first year and 890,000 visitors the second year. So as you can tell, it is a pretty big event. Organizers are expecting even more visitors this year, so that's why they're extending the operating period this time around. This year also marks the 80th anniversary of Korea's independence, so the Seoul Veterans Affairs Regional Office is co-hosting the event, while LIG, a Korean arms manufacturer, is participating as a sponsor.
So it's clear there's a lot to enjoy, from this Seoul Summer Beach Festival to other exciting spots around Korea this summer. And to hear more about what makes summer travel in Korea so special, we'll be soon speaking with a travel enthusiast from India who's explored the country firsthand. That's coming up right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
So joining us today is Napuru, who's from India and is a participant of Seoul Tours Organization's Global Seoul Made program. Hi Napuru, thanks so much for connecting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me on this platform.
So can you tell us about a place in Korea where you've enjoyed water activities or spent your summer vacation? What was the experience like?
So I recently traveled to the Gapyeong city, which is located in Gyeonggi-do, and I think that is the most memorable place I could connect to, because Gapyeong city has like a lake, it has the mountains, and the pension where I went for the glamping, it has an indoor pool as well as the outdoor pool. And indoor because of the indoor pool, it was kind of having a privacy with the friends, and we could enjoy and like cook inside the house, and we could relax. So I think that was the most memorable for me.
So how would you compare that experience in Gapyeong, Gyeonggi province, to summer holidays in your home country? And is there any noticeable differences?
So back in India, I belong to Jodhpur city, Rajasthan, and Rajasthan is like a Thar desert. And I have also stayed in the capital city, Delhi, and both the places have like a hot and dry climate. So usually we kind of avoid to go in the daytime outside during the summers because of the extreme heat waves. But post 4 to 5 p.m. we also have water parks in our within my country. We have water parks, we have cafes, And of course, like we go to like shopping malls and spend the time over there with friends and family.
Great. Now, Pura, do you have any personal recommendations for people spending their summer in Korea? It could be a place, a food, or even something fun to do.
So I could say for especially if I'm talking about from the perspective of India. So we also have a food dessert which is very much similar to the bingsu, the Korean shaved ice cream. I would say we call it ice kagola or chuski in India. So it's very nostalgic for me because when I was a child I used to eat that a lot. So I think a lot of people can connect to the bingsu, and it's really nice to relax and eat that during the summers.
So thank you so much for sharing your insight on like the similarities and differences. So it was really, I also want to try that. That sounds really good. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just heard from someone from a different country about her experience spending summer here in Korea. It's always interesting to hear how summer vacations differ across cultures, what they enjoy, what surprises them, and what unique spots they've discovered. So we've talked quite extensively about the Water Festival Key, but are there any other great destinations across Korea you'd recommend? Places where people can really soak up the summer vibes, and feel free to include spots like outside of Seoul as well.
So first of all, it was surprising to me there's something similar like bingsu, the ice flakes here, that's similar in India. Anyways, Korea is a peninsula, the land that's surrounded by the sea on three sides, making it an ideal destination for the beach lovers. So on the east coast, like Grace once said before, Yangyang has become a hotspot for surfers in Gangwon State, drawing enthusiasts from across the country. And nearby, the coastal views of Gangneung are simply stunning, as you can see from the screen right now. It's calm, scenic, and perfect for a summer escape. And of course, Jeju Island would be the #1 choice for anyone. Its emerald-colored water and unique volcanic landscapes offer a great experience. And what many people don't realize, though, is that Gyeongju, best known for its cultural heritage sites like Seokguang Grotto, also has beaches. The Gampo Coast is especially well known. And with the APEC summit being held in Gyeongju this coming October, and today marks exactly 100 days left until the APEC actually kicks off, is the perfect time to explore both the historical treasures and the lesser-known seaside beauty the city has to offer. So it's a city filled with culture, beautiful temples, mountains, historic relics, just like an all-one-in-one package.
I'm really glad you mentioned Gyeongju because I feel like that's a good example of a place and it shows how summer travel doesn't always have to be about seeing thrills. You know, sometimes it's just about, slowing down, enjoying kind of the history and kind of local nature of Korea as well.
Exactly.
And also for those who aren't necessarily into water activities, are there any other spots or experiences in Korea that are worth checking out during the summer, Grace?
Sure. Aside from all of the water activities and oceans in Korea, there's a lot of mountains, even within the metropolitan area, which makes them very accessible by public transportation. It's actually been found that almost half of all visitors to mountains like Bukhansan, Bugaksan, and Gwanaksan, with san meaning mountain in Korean, are foreigners. Hiking up the mountains, then stopping by the streams to cool off afterwards is something that I definitely recommend, especially in the summertime. And who's seen K-pop Demon Hunters? If you want to see the settings in the movie in person, you can visit all of them, probably just even within one day. Namsan, Myeongdong, and Bukchon are all located within the same vicinity right here in Seoul.
I'm also glad that you mentioned mountains as well because mountains are actually one of Korea's main attractions, I feel like. And there's so many of them. Like whether you're a beginner or you're an experienced climber, there's a mountain like for every level of difficulty. So it's also a perfect way to escape the summer heat as well. So before we wrap up though, what are some fun and safe ways people can enjoy water activities during the summer? Any tips for first timers or families with kids?
Families with kids, so I have like a bunch of families. All right, well, actually, especially for the families with kids, there's also a small water park here and there in Seoul. It's like a kids cafe, we'll call it, where we take kids to, just play with a lot of different toys, but this time with water. It's not only just, it just doesn't run during the summer, but they also run during the winter too, because they run warm water during the winter. So it's all season long. So if you have a kid, you can just go there for fun during the weekend or even during the weekdays.
So I guess that's a place where you can go all year. That sounds really convenient. So what about you, Grace? Do you have any tips for us?
Yeah, you know, we mentioned a lot of water activities today, so yeah, I definitely recommend them if you're trying to cool off. And I also recommend doing some research and planning beforehand, because I personally wish that I had planned ahead to attend some of like the water concerts, like Water Bomb and Psy's water concert called Humpuk Show, where, you know, people just go there to have fun and get splashed with water. But I missed my chance because I didn't plan ahead. Also, while water activities and swimming can be lots of fun, make sure to always play it safe. Keep the rules so you don't put yourself or your family in any dangerous situations.
These are all really good recommendations, also good tips. So whether you're heading to a big festival, exploring hidden water spots around the country, or simply enjoying some downtime by the pool, summer in Korea always offers plenty of ways to stay cool and have fun. But whatever your plans may be, don't forget to stay safe, stay hydrated, and most importantly, enjoy every moment of the season. So we're also conducting a program survey that includes News Generation until August 17th to better meet our viewers' expectations. So please visit us at www.arirang.com or on the Arirang TV mobile app to share your valuable feedback. And by participating, you'll also have a chance to win Bluetooth earbuds and exclusive K-pop merchandise. So this brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Big thanks to Keith.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. And Grace.
Great to be here.
And to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have the best day. We are
News Generation.
How to survive in Korea. One room. So, you're surviving in Korea if you've signed a contract for a one room. Obviously, you're a pro. But the real deal begins now. Step 1. Housewarming. No need to buy toilet paper, diffusers or hand soap. You'll get them soon enough as housewarming gifts. And some are bound to pile up. There's nothing better to serve your guests than milpaeyu nabe. If you have Korean friends coming over, don't forget the extra garlic. Step 2. Garbage disposal. With great power comes great responsibility. You've had a good time, so let's get to work. It might be tempting to sweep everything into a trash can, but you have to separate your garbage. Not bothered? Beware that negligence is punished with a fine or public humiliation. Step 3. Drying rack. You're excited to live alone in Korea, but the fate of these items, hanger, storage, or a hanger. Go get fresh coffee outside. Jogging doesn't cost anything, and nothing beats instant rice. But keep one item around so that you don't get too lonely. Step 4. Pros of living alone. No mum. Cons of living alone. No mum. A new towel doesn't magically appear. You have to do the laundry regularly. If anyone gives a towel as a souvenir, take it. Get rid of mold immediately. Don't be lazy with the vacuum cleaner. Housework is an endless affair. Overwhelmed? Give your mum a call and thank her for everything she's done. Did you survive in your one room? Wait, you have an unwanted visitor. Call someone you fancy. Could be the right person for the job.
Arirang TV is conducting an overseas TV viewer survey to provide you with a better global broadcast service. Share your valuable feedback on the Arirang TV website www.arirang.com or mobile application. Survey participants will be selected at random to receive special gifts. 2025 Arirang Overseas TV Viewer Survey. We look forward to hearing from you.
막 나가오면 선월사 조사 없고 서문 막 나가오면 관악묘를 모셔 있고 북문 막 나가오면 교롱산성 태보가비 남문 막 나가오면 광안루